I want to talk about the Tupac case for a minute, right? Because I see this other channel trying to spin the narrative and throw people off, right? Greg Caden Peoples. Greg Caden Peoples is sitting here trying to spin the composites that they put out, right? Let me show you. They trying to spin these two composites, right? Now, the first composite, right, was drawn up off of the first one on the my left, your left too, right? The one on the left, right? That was the first one that was drawn up, and that came from the description of Little C's and G Money, who was driving the car that Big got shot up in, right? Rest in peace, B.I.G. Right? Now, that is the one that we or I believe was the shooter. Because if Little C's and G Money is the one that gave the description for them to come up with that composite, right? That to me would be closer to the truth. The other guy on the right with the darker imagery, right? That's the guy I believe that helped draw the composite from Gene Squill, right? You know, the bald head dude with the peanut head and the bow tie, this, that, and the third, right? Now, this first guy to me looks like Sharita Knight's ex-boyfriend, Kevin Gaines, who allegedly was down with Death Row, was well, ain't no alleged. He was down with Death Row, right? As far as security, he was Snoop's bodyguard. Um, Sharitha made it clear that he was in Vegas when Pac got killed, and he done some off-duty work for Death Row, right? The other guy they try to say is the Amir Muhammad dude, right? So we know that Gene couldn't have seen the driver in the Impala because he ran the three lights. They was gone already. So when the car pull up on Big and they shoot in the car, Gene ain't nowhere around to see the shooter to be given any goddamn description of the shooter. Now he could talk about the dude that may have walked up to him in the garage, but he can't give you the description of the shooter. And this first uh composite was sketched up from G Money and Little C's. Now, when you look at that guy, right, and you look at Kevin Gaines, Sharon, good looking. The Jamaica Queens block party coming up soon, y'all. Right? Now take a good look at that first picture. Y'all got that picture in your head? And look at this guy. Do that look like the same guy to you? That's Kevin Gaines right there. So you know they don't want it to look like LAPD had anything to do with this because that was Greg Caden's job to make sure that no police was involved so they couldn't sue the city, right? Look at this picture again. Now look at this picture. I'm live on YouTube. Go to my stories, hit the link, Instagram, if y'all want to see what's on the screen. It's a link in my story. What y'all think? Let me see if I can pull them up side by side. There we go. Check this out. Up at the top, and they go to one at the bottom. What you think? This is the one that G Money and Little C's drew, gave the sketch artist for the first one that first hit out the news, and then here come Gene talking about, oh nah, the dude with the peanut head and the blue tie, the blue suit with the peanut head. Gene ain't seen no goddamn shooter. Gene was gone. He done Rick Kenny, run the next street like Skinny. That nigga ain't see the shooter. So why are you listening to him and why is he giving a description of the dude that walked up on him? Right? Look at that. Look at that composite and look at that goddamn picture of Kevin Gaines. And now here's the ill thing about this, right? Lil C says a dude from the Nation of Islam shot big because he had on the bow tie, right? I guess a suit and the bow tie, right? Let me show you something. Now, right here at the Peterson Museum, allegedly, I'm gonna say, you got David Mack right there, allegedly, and Kevin Gaines, right? That's Kevin Gaines in the white shirt, right? You see how he got his shirt buttoned all the way up to the top. Who wears their white shirt buttoned all the way up to the top? Oh, y'all can't see it. My bad. Hold up. Remember the description that Gaddafi gave, right? It was a dude, bald head, with a hat on, with a mustache, and looked like a bitch in the face, right? Allegedly, if this is David Mack, that's a dude with a bald head, with a mustache. I ain't saying he looked like a bitch in the face, but you know what I'm saying? He was light skinned, right? Now, also, allegedly, right here, is Kevin Gaines, right? Outside of the Peterson Museum, right? Look at his shirt buttoned all the way up right here. You only wear your shirt like that when you're wearing a tie. Now, who's to say, allegedly, that he didn't go and come back to the scene, lose the jacket, lose the tie, and now sitting there watching what's going on? Give you another look. What do you think? Could easily dip the car, came back around onto the scene. Biggie's already dead, gone, right? And they on the scene. Remember, they said Perez came and was picking up shells or kicking shells or whatever. So Gene sat there and gave a composite of a dude that walked up on him. Little C's and G Money gave a composite of a guy that they saw in the car that pulled up on him, right? Who you think that dude looked like? And then what's the chances of Kevin Gaines allegedly being on the scene, allegedly with David Mack, and he got on a shirt that's buttoned up all the way to the top? Who the hell takes off their suit jacket or whatever and leave their shirt buttoned up to the top, a collar shirt, right? Only reason you got your shirt buttoned up to the top is when you wear a tie. You in LA, it's hot as hell. This is why Mac got on, allegedly, if that's Mac, he just got on a t-shirt. Who would be wearing a shirt buttoned all the way up to the top? None other than the guy that took off his tie or his bow tie, right? But when you look at the composite of the two individuals, right? I'm listening to the dudes that was in the car with Big. I'm not listening to the nigga that drove and chased the car that was already gone. I'm not listening to the dude that went back down to the garage and heard he was chilling on the pillar, listening to DJ Quick. I'm not listening to that. I'm listening to the guys that was in the car with Big that gave a description of the shooter. That was the very first sketch that came out. And who do it look like? The guy that was working for Death Row allegedly and was Snoop Dogg's bodyguard, Ed Sharita's boyfriend. So they out here trying to spin it once again because they trying to make sure that nobody thinks that none of the police was involved. Like they try to say that none of the police, Greg Cater talking about none of the LAPD worked at Death Row. But you got Chief Bernard Parks saying that they worked at Death Row. You got Jimmy Iovine. You got Big C Style. You got Trady. You got Layla. You got Joe Cool, rest in peace. You got Sharita saying that he did security for Snoop and saying that he was in Vegas. His paperwork saying that Gaines was in Vegas, right? You got Reggie on the phone. Kevin Gaines. Did you ever pay him in cash? Did you ever give him a check? They saying they got checks. I thought this nigga ain't know who Kevin Gaines was. Why is he on the phone asking Sharita about Kevin Gaines? And they saying that they got checks from Death Row to Kevin Gaines, but you don't know him. Then you got Suge telling Michael Carlin how Perez and Reggie was good friends, and how Perez, Reggie, and Sharita was great friends. Then you got Chief Bernard. Then you got former Mayor Omar Bradley, who played chess with Rafael Perez and Death Row, with Reggie standing right there. But they still, Gray Caden and them still trying to convince us LAPD didn't work at Death Row. Kick rocks, Gray Caden. Ain't nobody stupid. We know what time it is. Joke, no joke. Y'all know what time it is. I'll be back tomorrow, man. I'll holler, man. Y'all have a blessed night. Have a great weekend. All right? Y'all know what it is. Keep on hating. You know what it is. And stop doing shows after me. Get off my nuts, groupie. Niggas be waiting for me to go off so they can go on. Groupie.